of Cambridge there, greeting fans outside the Playford Civic Centre, John.
Yes, of course, Elizabeth is about 20 kilometres north of Adelaide. This is the Playford Civic Centre. They'll go inside shortly. There's a reception there to be hosted by the Governor of South Australia. And they're going to meet 200 youngsters, all under 25, and all from a range of about 18 different organisations. It'll be a lovely encounter for them, as we found everyone that's met them today have just enjoyed their interaction. Let's join Jessica Adamson there. Jess, the excitement must be reaching fever pitch right about now.
John, it's unbelievable. It feels like we've been waiting so long, but the Duke and Duchess are finally here. And it's a city rich with royal history, but gee, the people have really turned it on today. I'm so impressed by the effort that so many of them have gone to with their outfits. There are Union Jacks and they're waving flags. There's so many little princesses around with tiaras. There are so many presents for little Prince George, even though he isn't here today. The little chap's in Canberra, of course, with his nanny. Almost everyone, I think, has brought something along for the little prince. We've got books for him, a toy kookaburra. I even saw a woman who's brought along a jar of teething gel from the Women's and Children's Hospital. Now, I can tell you that this stuff is magical, and I highly encourage Kate and Wills to take it home with them. It will be very useful. But as we can see, we know how generous they've been with their time after the skate park and Northern Sound System. And here it looks like they're going to do just the same thing. They're just really enjoying spending time with the people here, really soaking up the atmosphere, having a decent chat with the people. And the people here are just so happy to be part of a good news story. We know that this community has just been rocked in recent months. And you know, as a member of the media and all of the journalists and camera crew that are here today, we're just so honoured to be a part of covering this very happy story.
It's a great badge of honour for Elizabeth, the only part of South Australia that the Royals are going to visit. So it's a great credit to them, and they're obviously soaking it up.
Yeah, they are. They're really enjoying it. I managed to have a chat to the acting Premier, John Rao, as he slipped into the Civic Centre before. I was interested to know what they talked about as they came off the plane and onto the tarmac. And he said he was struck by their interest in the young people here. They talked a bit about Uluru and how amazing it was. And Kate was fascinated by the size of the country and everything that our beautiful country has to offer. But Will was more interested in who were they going to meet, and I know that they've been intimately involved in the planning of the people that they will meet here today, and I think that makes it so much more special, doesn't it, that they really want to be engaged with these people.
Now, Jess, that would go with the whole issue of this luncheon where they're going to have 200 young people, all under the age of 25. It was reported in one of the newspaper outlets this morning that some of the Playford councillors are a little put out that they're not on the invite list. But from what you're saying, the Duke had to say to our Deputy Premier, that's been very much at their request.
Well, they're probably a bit disappointed I'm missing out on the Spencer Golf prawns, Jane. You can vouch that they're pretty good. And the Barossa pork that's on offer, and a few Cornish pasties. I know they're on the menu as well. But look, it certainly feels like this event has embraced the entire community. The blue-collar workers, people from all over the state are here, and it really is a moment that, or a few hours that none of us will ever forget.
You mentioned earlier the place has been rocked, Elizabeth, of course, with the news that Holden, the car building giant, is closing the doors in less than 2 years. This, for them, would be just the brightest news they've had for months.
It really is, John. It's such a good tonic for those people who are still hurting. And I mentioned earlier that I spoke to one of the workers who was really emotional about the hope that this beautiful couple have brought to our state, and they've been spreading that around the country. And I really think that this will buoy them and give them some strength and some, you know, some will to go on and to get on with their lives and give them a bit of a boost, and they certainly need it.
A bit like his grandmother going around London after the Blitz, obviously nowhere near that devastation, but that same morale-boosting thing. Now, Jess, I did hear in the background just a moment ago a bit of a chant. Are they competing for who they want, the crowd on either side of the road?
Oh, look, the noise here, Jane, is deafening. I can't hear the chant, but you can see from our live pictures that they are still working their way along that line. There are various chants. I know it seems like this morning wants to talk about little Prince George. I mean, he is so adorable. Why wouldn't you? But you know, I think there'll be a lot of questions to Kate and Wills about how they're getting on without him. Of course, they've just spent a night without him. and so I know that he will be a topic of conversation.
What strikes me watching the Prince just there on camera, the Duke I should say, just there on camera at the moment, is how long they're spending with individuals. It seems to be quite remarkable, having watched royal tours before. You know, the Duke is actually spending quite a bit of time. I know you can't see the pictures, Jess, but he's talking to individuals, you know, longer than just hello and moving on.
Yeah, I'm watching him, Jane. He's probably only about 15 metres from us at the moment. And I can see the thing that has struck me about this whole tour is the eye contact that they have with the people and their genuine want to talk and to interact with these people. I mean, they are really normal people that lead an extraordinary life. And I think they genuinely enjoy hearing other people's stories.
Yeah, Jess, just a moment ago before they came to where you are, Kate actually broke away from the structured walk out to go and talk to someone that she'd missed earlier and had quite an exchange with her. I mean, it's very relaxed as far as they're concerned.
It seems to be, doesn't it? And I love the fact that even though it was, you know, a little bit frustrating for the crowd here, but I love the fact that they are running so far behind schedule.
Yes.
They just have thrown everything out the window to kind of engage with the people and, you know, really make it worthwhile. Let's face it, they're only here for a few hours, so they may as well make the most of it.
Yeah.
On our screens at the moment, we can see both, well, we're focusing on Kate at the moment, and you can see the security officers are really having to work very hard to make sure that their job is done without impeding the Duchess as she leans into the
right
crowd.
in the
She
crowd,
must be a
yeah.
nightmare for the security detail.
It would be a nightmare. You know, when they start talking to their watchers, you know that something's up. They've been doing a lot of that in the last few minutes. I'm just looking at one of the ladies that they were talking to, and I know we spoke to her earlier. She is a visually impaired elderly lady, and she's handmade a little bear for Prince George, and she said it was pretty hard to do actually because, you know, of her challenge. But I think I saw Kate, you know, talk to her and engage with her, so that would be lovely for her if she did.
Wow.
There's so many gifts and so many bunches of flowers coming over the fence, Jess.
I don't know what they're going to do with all of it, but I'm sure they've got places. Of course, as we know, when they finish talking and interacting with the people here, they'll walk into this forecourt behind us.
They're going to need a bigger plane to get all that home.
I think we will.
Sorry, Jess, what we just saw on camera was the Duke engage in what appeared to be either a Maori or a South Sea island, I can't think of the actual word for it, where you touch noses and foreheads, and engaged
beautiful.
in that with someone from that culture over the fence. It was a really touching moment.
Wow, that loud cheer that we just heard then was for Kate. And as you can see, she's coming in now to the forecourt behind me, which just in a few minutes' time will become known as Prince George Plaza. So even though the little man can't be with them today, he is here in spirit, and the Duke and Duchess will be unveiling that plaque. Let's just have a listen to the atmosphere of the crowd for a moment. They are certainly chanting, "We want Kate."
That's what I thought I heard earlier, and that's clearly from the side where the Duke is still working. I can't get out of the habit of calling him Prince William. It's been all these years he was Prince William, and now, of course, he's the Duke.
Yes, it is tricky. She's talking now, of course, to the Playford Mayor, Glenn Docherty, and also to the Governor's wife, Mrs Scarce, who's been lucky enough to spend a bit of time with her this morning.
Indeed, they won't get to stay at Government House though, Jess, will they? Because they're flying out straight away this afternoon. Normally royals would go and stay in the house with the Governor and his wife if they were staying overnight.